Good morning, Formation friends. Good morning. It's a new day. Today is March 14th. I'm excited to look with you at Proverbs chapter 14. I want to ask you another question. I like to start with questions. And this question is, what are you building or what are you tearing in life? We're usually doing one or the other. We might not notice it, but when we start to get our attention in that way, it can be really helpful. See, the proverb starts out and says that a wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, a foolish one tears hers down. See, we have this, we have agency in life. Sometimes we view things as if we're victims, as if our circumstances determine what's going down, when actually, um, no, it's us. It's us. Wisdom, the wise woman, wisdom is humble and is teachable and implements what it learns. If you are a wise person, you are humble, teachable, meaning you can be corrected and instructed, and you implement what you learn. Foolishness, however, is arrogant, cynical, kind of a know it all, and is undermining. It undermines other people. It even undermines our own work. It can be self sabotaging. So, as you put it in as simple terms as you can, wisdom builds, foolishness tears down or erodes. Sometimes it's not an aggressive tearing, it can just be an undermining and eroding. Well, let's jump down to verse 4 for a moment. It says, "Where there is no oxen, the manger or the stall is clean, but abundant crops come with the strength of the ox." So if you want, it's interesting. The Passion Translation says, if you want the work of the ox to enjoy the abundant harvest, you're going to have a mess or two to clean up. This is just how life works. If you want to have a holiday meal, there's going to be some stuff to clean up. It's just how life works. Wedding celebrations. You want to have a wedding celebration? There's going to be some stuff to clean up. That could be the things related to the food. It's probably going to be some relational things. If you want to have the joy of the gathering, you are going to have to do some cleanup. It's true in business. It's true in the neighborhood, in HOAs, whatever you're going to do to build and to be effective, there's going to be breakdown and need for cleanup. If you want to build a church, there's going to be some messes to clean up. If we want to see revival, there's going to be mess to clean up. When the power of God comes, also comes a flood of demonic activity. There's having to discern between righteousness and evil, having to help people get free, having to help people grow, having to bring restoration and reconciliation to relationships. All that's involved. So be willing and be gracious to clean up. We all want to see things expand and grow. If you want to do that, you need to be willing. You need to humbly and graciously clean up and be ready. Don't be surprised that you need to. Well, let's drop down to verse 9 for a moment. Fools mock at amends for sin. Fools make fun of the need for a guilt offering, is what the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Old Testament, said. The guilt offering was to recognize my need, the guilt, and the offering to bring restoration. Fools mock, they make fun of the need for repentance and change, for admitting wrong and changing directions. They tend to gloss over things and make light of sin or a need for reconciliation. So sometimes we don't even recognize we're operating in that spirit of uh, mockery or foolishness because we gloss over things. We do something wrong in a relationship and we try to correct it by being nice rather than by facing things, confessing or agreeing with what we've done wrong and changing the direction. The upright, remember, are humble. And so they will honestly face things. They will honestly deal with what needs to be dealt with in a relationship or in a situation, or handling of money or things like that. Um, and it goes, as the verse progresses, it says that they will experience acceptance. They will experience God's favor, depending which translation you have. So a fool mocks the need for repentance or mocks the need for amends, making things right. But an upright person faces it, addresses it humbly, and in so doing, experiences acceptance from God, restoration of relationship there, and the favor of God. So that opens the door to acceptance and favor from others also. One other verse I wanted to just touch base on in this chapter is there's a way that appears right. Verse 12, there's a way that appears right. Hey, but it's not. It may seem so right to you. You might be sure you are right. Could be about an argument, something about you're sure you had the facts about something, but actually you weren't. Could be about the path of your life. There's a path, there's a way that seems right, but its end is the way of death. It may seem so right to you, and it's not. That's where humility comes in. See, you can justify yourself as much as you want, but it won't change the path that you're on, and you will receive the consequences of the path that you're on, no matter what it is. Might be how you've been paying taxes, and you find out there's something wrong with it. You could justify it, but you're going to be one day probably nabbed in for not addressing it rightly. Or it could be the way that you're basing your life in faith, and it could seem so right to you, but there was a massive flaw in what you were doing. It was all about yourself. It wasn't really relying on the grace gift of God, and you might be sure you're right and justifying yourself rather than humbly receiving from others and being willing to address that. Remember, wisdom is humble and it's teachable, and it implements what it learns. Foolishness, on the other hand, is proud, is a know-it-all, and it justifies itself. So do you tend to be walking in humility or in pride or foolishness? Are there any ways that you're proud, knowing it all, and self-justifying? Well, we all have bits of that, but we don't have to stay there because repentance is powerful to change the direction of our life, to change the nature of our relationship with people, to set us rightly before God, to set us free in our souls. So simply remember pride and foolishness. Pride and foolishness walk in the direction of self justification, arrogance, knowing it all. On the other hand, choose humility and building action. Remember, wisdom builds a house. So choose humility to learn and to implement and build. Take the action to build. Is there anywhere that you are, anywhere that you're aware, that you're wrong? Are there any repentances or amends you need to make things right so that you can build relationship, so that you can move ahead without the hindrance? Speaking of building, if I have a free gift, if you would like, it's called 4 Key Steps to Be Fruitful. It's a PDF, and it can be really helpful for you to put your life in order if you'd like. Here's how to receive that free gift. Go to getclearandfocused.com. Getclearandfocused.com. And then you'll be able to download that free gift so that you can be a builder rather than a terror. Have a great day, and I can't wait to